By the way, interesting thing that you just brought up. It just popped in my head. Are you ready to apologize to me? Because I told you that Taysom Hill was not going to be the starter in New Orleans.
I don't remember that. I don't recall that at all.
You have been hot on Taysom Hill for years now.
Wait, this is the height of irony. That on your first appearance on this program, after you did to me what you did on Monday, you're asking for an apology from me. How dare you?
No, how dare you? You said that Taysom Hill was the starter. Jameis Winston is a future Hall of Famer. I told you this a million times. You love Taysom Hill. You love Taysom Hill.
I think that Jameis Winston flat out won the job. He came in and won the job.
Taysom Hill's not a quarterback, Mike. He's not a quarterback.
Wait, he did pretty well last year when he had a chance to play. He did pretty well. He was, 3-1 last year as the starter, and Peyton viewed him as better than Winston last year. So, look, I think what hurts Taysom Hill is the fact that he can do other stuff. Now, Winston sees that job last Monday night against Jacksonville with those throws he made. He seized that job. But I thought Hill was going to have to win convincingly to get Peyton to not want to do what he can now do. I can use Winston and Hill. If Hill wins the job, it's not like you're going to have Winston playing H-back. So I think that Hill was a victim of his own versality. And I think that made it harder for him to win the starting job.
That's a great spin zone. I've been so right about the Saints. I think that's the only team that I'm right about consistently. I was on
so
the
what are they, okay.
Yeah.
What are they going to do with Winston? What are they going to do? They're going to the Super Bowl? They beat the Bucs twice last year and could have beaten them 3 times. They're up 10 points in the third quarter. Are they going to knock out the Bucs this year?
Probably. I mean, I've been on the last 2 years, 3 years that Drew Brees is holding that team back because you saw the stats were lying to everyone every single week. Drew Brees would get his stats, but you knew the limitations. You knew that when he got into a big game, he couldn't make a big throw downfield because his shoulder just wasn't the same. So I do think Jameis Winston, if he can limit the interceptions, he got LASIK, he can maybe see the middle linebacker now. I think that he gives the Saints a better chance at winning football games than Drew Brees the last couple of years.
Well, that 53-yard throw that you see right there was the longest throw made by any New Orleans quarterback in any game since 2016.
I mean, there you go.
Yeah, but look, it's easy to say, well, Drew Brees didn't have the deep ball in his repertoire late in his career, but he was so surgical with everything else, that's why he was still the starter. That's what Winston has to do.
Mike,
you got to be surgical with what they give you. If you can scare them deep, okay, all right.
Mike, you can't win a playoff game if you can't at least threaten going deep. Like, remember when Peyton Manning won with the Broncos? Now that Broncos defense was exceptional. Peyton Manning had a noodle arm at the end of his career. But do you remember how, like, every game basically went the same way? The first quarter or second quarter, like the first half, Peyton Manning had some zip in his balls. That was a phrasing, bad. Peyton Manning had some zip in his arm. He could make all the throws for, 15, 20 minutes of the game. It would start to fade as the game went on, and he wouldn't be able to push the ball downfield, but they would jump out to a lead, they would hold the lead, they would serve the game, you know what I mean? Like, Drew Brees didn't have that. He just didn't. And he's a Hall of Famer. I'm doing a lot of, this guy stinks, but he's a nice guy, which we haven't even gotten to Andy Dalton, but Drew Brees was holding that team back. I think the Saints have had a roster that is Super Bowl caliber the last few years, and I think that they've been missing that one piece of being able to stretch the defense, being able to give their playmakers more space because of the threat of throwing it over the top.
In 2015 with the Broncos, by the time they got to the Super Bowl, either Peyton Manning or Brock Osweiler could have won that game because that was a dominant defensive performance. Where Peyton Manning had his greatest value, and I know this isn't just speculation or evaluation or whatever, I know this. Peyton Manning's greatest value to that team's championship came against the Steelers in the divisional round because on multiple occasions they were in a bad play against a bad look, and it was going to blow up, and he spotted it, and he changed the play. And he did that over and over and over again. And I say that because That's the kind of experience that you have with Drew Brees. That's the kind of brain power that you have with Drew Brees. That's the knowledge of the offense, the knowledge of the defenses. That's going to be the challenge for Jameis Winston. He started 5 years in Tampa. He never had the kind of coaching he has with Sean Payton. Payton's going to have to give him a crash course in understanding how to operate the whole offense. Hey, great, you can throw the ball 53 yards in the air. There's more to that when it comes to being a quarterback. That's going to be the stuff. He can do the hard stuff. He's got to do the easy stuff or it's not going to work.
Now, and
it's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm saying it's easy throws, but it's tougher from a mental standpoint of reading the defense and understanding what you need to do. Because so many of those throws that we saw Drew Brees make, he knew before the ball was ever in his hands who was going to be open, and he got it to him.
And the Saints were snake bitten. I'll absolutely admit that they had tragic playoff losses. But here's one for you, Mike, that I'm going to just test out here, and it's probably going to get people very, very angry. The famous pass interference in the NFC Championship game. That actually was Drew Brees' fault because he underthrew the ball. If he threw that ball with zip and he got the ball to him, we don't even have to talk about that. We don't have to go through the entire year where you changed the entire NFL by saying they needed to do the replay rule that ruined everything. That was the Mike Florio en memoriam rule.
It was not my idea.
If he just had a little more zip on that, that never happens.
Well, Nickel Roby-Coleman caught himself on the wrong side of the formation. He was sprinting across to try to cover Tommy Lee Lewis. And I'll agree with you. If that ball gets to Lewis faster, great job by the control room pulling this up. If that ball gets there faster, Roby-Coleman never gets to him. And Roby-Coleman just assumed, I got no chance of stopping this guy from catching the ball, so I'm just going to blow him up. But he should have already had the ball in his hands. I'll agree with you. The ball should have been in his hands. Now, he had to finesse it around Ndamukong Suh. You saw him jump up there. But the ball should have been in his hands before Roby-Coleman ever got there. I'll agree with you on that.
Okay, so there we go. So we're just rewriting history. I love this show.
You know Drew Brees works for NBC now. You do realize that, don't you?
I actually didn't. I forgot until right now. Before we started this show, I told you. I said that with 2 kids, 1 + 1 kids does not equal 2. And I said my brain does not retain things and doesn't capture things at the same rate as it used to. And I completely forgot that Drew Brees worked for NBC until you just said that. Whoops.
Well, clean up.
I said
on
nice
aisle
guy.
5.
I said nice guy. Hall of Famer.
I said long before he came to NBC, one of the best quarterbacks of all time, and got the absolute most out of his God-given abilities, and it's hard not to respect anybody who takes what they're given and gets the absolute most and then some out of it, and he absolutely did that. Let's go back to Mac Jones for a second before we wrap this segment.
Okay.
What?
Okay. No, I want the people at home to know that I am completely uncompromised. People cannot get to me. And I'm saying that because I just forget who works at NBC at this point. So it has nothing to do with me being on a mission for justice. It's simply I just completely forgot.
It's easy to take the stand on principle when the stand you took happened without knowledge of any principles or issues or problems that may be at play.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.